How's it going, guys? We need to talk about Helltides because there's some crazy tricks that you can do which will allow you to open tier 4 mystery chests without even farming in tier 4, as well as when to know exactly when a Helltide is happening, where the mystery chests are, all of the events that you want to farm within that Helltide, and just generally things that make your life so much easier farming Ancestrals, Legendaries, and Uniques in World Tier 4, even if you're too weak and currently are playing in World Tier 3. This is great if you're playing a squishy class or if you're around level 60 and just a bit too weak to jump into World Tier 4, because remember, dying in Helltides mean you lose about half of your cinders, which is very bad. And farming in World Tier 3 in the Helltides can be very easy, but the rewards just aren't as good. And it seems like you get a lower pool of uniques in World Tier 3, so ideally you want to be opening these chests in World Tier 4. But as we said, there's a trick to opening and finding the mystery chests in World Tier 4 very easily without actually having to farm in World Tier 4, so you don't even have to worry about dying. Also, there's something that we didn't even know until recently, and it's that the mystery chests can actually respawn, so you can actually get around 4 or even 6 if you're fast enough and lucky. All in all, these tips are going to be fantastic for any player farming Helltides to get a bunch of good gear. However, they're particularly good if you're around level 60 plus, looking to get a full set of Ancestral armor while being too weak to farm in World Tier 4. So we have you covered here no matter what level you are. So of course, in Helltides, you want to defeat groups of mobs, the elites, and do the events around the place to build up cinders, and you want to save up to 175 to open the mystery chest. In general, the best way to build up enough cinders is to loop doing the events in the active Helltide. These will generally spawn a lot of enemies, so you get cinders from them, and then you get cinders as a reward, and you run to the next event. On the way, make sure to kill large groups of enemies because they will drop a lot of cinders as well, and look out for red glowing interactable objects and fiend roses as they also drop cinders. Of course, doing Helltides in World Tier 4 is better because you have a higher chance of getting ancestral loot from the mobs and the events, and it seems like you get more cinders in World Tier 4. But it is of course much more dangerous. You can die very easily, often getting one shot even if you're level 70 plus. But don't worry, farm the cinders in World Tier 3 if you need to, because there's a trick to open the chest in World Tier 4. The mystery chests will also not appear on your in-game map like the other ones. You must find them on your screen or minimap as you travel around. But these are the best ones to open because you can get anywhere from 2 to 6 legendaries, and that includes unique drops and ancestrals if you're in World Tier 4. But don't worry, there's a super handy tool so you can always find where the events are in the active Helltide, and even where the mystery chests are within each zone of the Helltide. This isn't a sponsor, it's just a very useful resource. Helltidescom will be linked down below. It's insanely useful because it not only tells you when the next Helltide will spawn, but it also shows you if there's an active one, where the location of all of the events are happening inside, and it will show you every possible mystery chest location. As the community plays the event, you can vote on which ones are correct, and it will have a little green marker on it, and that will be where the mystery chest currently is. This means it's super easy to plan out your farming route for cinders with the events shown, and then you know exactly where to go for the mystery chest. So there's some important things you need to know. Each region within the Helltide will have its own mystery chest. So if the Helltide covers 2 regions, there's a maximum of 2 mystery chests that will spawn. If it covers 3, then there will be 3. It's 1 per region. However, Helltides last for a whole hour, and then it's around an hour to an hour and a half before the next Helltide. This is important because at every hour on the dot, the mystery chests will actually respawn and change locations. This means if you're starting a Helltide at half past an hour, you can farm up and open the mystery chests before they reset and change location, which means you can then open them again once per region if you already opened them before the reset where they moved. This means depending on the size of the Helltide, you can open up the mystery chest twice per region. The timing of the Helltide doesn't always land this way, but it can happen, and when it does, it's a great way to get even more mystery chests very quickly. As we mentioned before, you can also farm the cinders in World Tier 3 where it is much safer and easier. What you want to do is farm up to 175 cinders, go to the mystery chest in World Tier 3 where it's a lot safer, then leave game and switch over to World Tier 4. When you load back in, of course make sure you're safe and no mobs are going to kill you, but you will be next to the mystery chest and you can then open it up because it saves your cinders when you switch world tiers. This means you farm the cinders in the easy mode that's world tier 3, but you get all the juicy rewards of world tier 4 with ancestrals and unique and legendary ancestral items. This is a super effective way to get a ton of ancestral items even when you're around level 60. So as soon as you unlock world tier 4, you can start doing this and juicing your character's power level up, even if you're playing in world tier 3. Combining this knowledge with the super useful website that we just mentioned, it makes your life so much easier for farming ancestrals and getting those mystery chests. It's just so easy. We also wanted to shout out that group play and using LFG and things like the official Diablo Discord is a great way to actually farm these cinders even in world tier 4, because having more people makes the whole thing easier and faster. So in an ideal world, you will farm in a 4-man group in world tier 4 to get the cinders to find the mystery chests. Then when the next hour ticks over and the mystery chests move, you can simply find the next one, open that as well. This way you can get between 4 and 6 mystery chests if you're super effective at farming the cinders quickly. Guys, if this is helpful to you, hit that like button down below. It's for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for supporting us. What I'm going to do next is show you a live example of this with sped up footage and walk you through how this works in case you're a bit confused. So of course the footage is sped up. You can see we're doing some events here. We partied up using LFG in the official Diablo 4 Discord that we just mentioned. It's a great resource to use to find parties since there's no way to do it in game, which is kind of crazy that they don't have any party making, LFG matchmaking in game. It's kind of nuts. We did get lucky and got a level 100, so it is a bit easier to farm this in world tier 4, but as a sorcerer with the Ice Shards build, it's no problem to just nuke down elites and groups of enemies. You can see there's tons of cinders everywhere. As a group, it was done pretty quickly. I got lucky and got a legendary there, which is great. But you can see here I've just cut to the next event. Basically what we're doing, like we mentioned before, is we're running from event to event and we'll just kill any groups of mobs along the way. But generally, the events are where you want to be to get the cinders. If you pay attention to the actual time, you can see it's about 11:40 something. And that means that on 12, it will reset the mystery chests. So our goal was to get as much cinders as we can to try and open both chests in the Helltide before the reset. So of course that means doing a bunch of events and everything like that. However, little spoiler alert, we weren't fast enough to get enough cinders to open both, but we were fast enough to get enough cinders to open one of them. So what we're doing here is basically getting the cinders, and then we're going to go and open that mystery chest in just a minute. What that means after the reset is that the one we've opened will have moved to a different location, so we can then open it again. So a maximum of 4 could have been opened in this Helltide, but we only managed to open 3 because we just got here a little bit too late. So as you can see, we are opening the chest reward at the end of each event. Sometimes you get lucky. If you're playing on World Tier 4, you can also get those Ancestrals and Uniques. Here's the very first mystery chest, which you can see is at 11:55, just before the reset in 5 minutes. That means we've got 5-minute head start to basically go and farm some more cinders or manage your inventory. Doing this gives you so many drops that you will have to port back to town from time to time. It's worth doing, it's worth picking up those rares and selling them, because rerolling substats and just in general at higher levels using gold becomes super expensive to do anything that uses gold, so you will want to be selling those rares. But as you can see, we're just sort of skipping forward. We're doing some more events, we're building those cinders back up, because within this Helltide there's now 2 more mystery chests that we can open after it actually resets. You have to be very careful in the Helltides in general. If you do die, you're going to lose about half of those cinders. So I wouldn't recommend actually farming in World Tier 4 unless you're confident that you can survive. But as you can see, I'm playing a level 70 Sorcerer, having not really too many problems there. I have a lot of barriers. You can see we've got a level 60 Rogue in the party. It's a little bit more dangerous there, but you can do it if you're careful and you're paying attention to your health, you're looking at the ground. The biggest worry for actually dying is the elite mobs when they are shooting fireballs underneath them or when they explode after they die. So paying attention to elites and the prefixes that they have is going to be very, very important. You can see we get a ton of ancestral rewards from doing all of this. These portal events are particularly good because you get so many cinders, they spawn enemies constantly. You can see we don't really have any problem actually fighting the elites. I think for a lot of builds, you're not going to have any problem killing the monsters in World Tier 4. You're just going to have problems surviving. You saw a quick glimpse there of my inventory. It got pretty full, so we do want to make sure we're doing some inventory management here and there, because leaving those rares on the floor just means you're missing out on money, which we will need. So now that we've got enough cinders, of course we go and open the next mystery chest and we see if we get lucky or not. It seems like I got quite unlucky. 2 Legendaries is probably the lowest amount you can get, but they were both Ancestral and you get a load of elixirs. Skipping forward time a little bit, we farmed some more cinders. For the third chest, again, we could have got 4 if we were faster, but we only got 3 this run. So I just skipped ahead. You can see I got a bit more lucky here with 3 Legendaries, and of course you get those elixirs as well. And these elixirs can be pretty good. Some of them roll with good stats on them. But that's the gist of it. Use the website, use the trick for World Tier 3 to World Tier 4 if you're solo and struggling or lower level, or if you can handle it, party up together with other people, farm it in World Tier 4, and try to get to that Helltide as soon as it spawns so you can get more mystery chests in one run. So drop a like if we've hooked you up here with a bunch of information to help you farm, and the 2 videos on screen now, we think you'll really enjoy if you did enjoy this one. You don't have to watch them if you don't want to, but if you did like this video, you're probably going to like these ones too. And then tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.